Hi you guys. First of all, gotta address the elephant in the room. I cut my hair. Do you like it? I feel like I'm still having to learn how to style it. I think I did it a little too curly today. I'm feeling a little Shirley Temple, but we'll get there. So as many of you probably already know, my husband and I recently moved, and while there were a lot of things that I felt like I did right in the moving process, there also were some mistakes that I made, and so I wanted to share this video with you. That way, if you are planning a move anytime in the near future, or if you have a friend who is moving soon, maybe you can pass these tips along. I wanted to share with you these mistakes that I made and some things to maybe help your moving process go a little bit more smoothly. My first tip for you is to call your internet provider, and if you have cable, call your cable provider as well, and any other services that you have that are connected to your home. Call those ahead of time and let them know about your move out date, and they can schedule it to cancel those services right on the day that you move out. That way you aren't paying for those services for a single day after you're not already there. I ended up doing this the day after we moved, and I just ended up paying for an extra day of service that I wouldn't have needed to pay for. Not a big deal, but obviously if you can avoid that, do it. And it's always nice to get those things done ahead of time so that you don't have to think about them when you're busy in the moving process. And then next up, you want to do the same thing with your electric bill, your water bill, your gas bill, any other things like that that you're paying for monthly. You can't rely on your landlord or the future homeowner of your home to switch those things over. You want to make sure you're proactive and you call those companies and let them know of your move out date so that you will not be charged for a day of service beyond when you're living in that home. This next tip is coming to you from my bedroom that has basically no decor in it because, like I said, I just moved. That tip is to call your insurance provider for your homeowners or renters insurance and make sure you let them know when your move out date is for your old place and when your move in date is for your new place. If you have a big overlap, they might have to write you a separate policy for your new place and then cancel your old one. That's what we ended up having to do. So whatever that may be, make sure that you get that done and squared away because you don't want to go a day without homeowner's insurance. I bring you this next tip with a bit of a story time of a mistake that I made, a word of caution, as well as a little bit of a solution for you. That tip is to go to the physical post office in your area to request mail forwarding. Do not do it online. Let me tell you why. In my recent moving process, I went online and saw that you could request mail forwarding through the post office online. I thought, great, this is fantastic. Now I don't have to make an extra trip to the post office. I can do it from the comfort of my couch. So I set up mail forwarding, thought I was in good shape. And next thing I know, I look in my bank account and I had a charge for $59. I thought that doesn't seem right. I thought it was only a couple dollars to change your address. Well, as it turns out, I had been scammed and I should have known better. I should have known to be careful with mail forwarding because just last year, my parents had their identity stolen through mail forwarding. Someone had gotten a hold of my parents' information, potentially through a site like what I just signed up for, and had forwarded all of my parents' mail, including all their sensitive information, all of that, to their address. So since then, we learned our lesson as a family and we got ourselves some identity protection. I'm gonna post a link in the description box for the identity protection service that we use. It's one of the top rated services on the market today. It's also one of the most inexpensive services on the market. So if you don't have some kind of identity protection, you need to get yourself some. Thankfully, we have that so that if anything sketchy comes out of what the mistake I made, we're protected. But so far, it looks like everything's okay. Don't worry about me. But for you, make sure you forward your mail at the physical post office. It's worth the trip to save yourself from potentially getting scammed, getting charged extra for basically nothing. So go to the physical post office to forward your mail. My next tip for you is do not wait until the last minute to start packing. If it's been a while since you moved, or really even if it hasn't, you'll probably be shocked by how much stuff you really have and how many moving boxes and rolls of bubble wrap and rolls of tape and all of the supplies that it takes to get yourself all packed up and moved. So the more you can do ahead of time, the less stressed you're going to be. And really there's so much you can pack ahead of time. Things like wall decor, things like seasonal items, even seasonal clothing that you're not wearing right now. Try to kind of go around your house maybe every evening, starting even like a month out from your move if you can. And you'll probably have something that you can pack every single night for a month. You will be shocked. My next tip is don't pack away or throw away your old grungy towels, and blankets. Save them and use them to cover up your furniture when you're packing it in your moving truck. It's gonna save your furniture from getting scratched and dinged up if you have that little layer of protection over the top. My next tip is if you are moving yourself, get a U-Haul or a truck that is one size bigger than whatever you think you're gonna need. I know like on the U-Haul website, or maybe even in stores too, they will tell you what size truck will work for what size apartment or house. And I think you probably need one size bigger than whatever it is that you're suggesting, or if you're kind of in between two, pick the bigger size. We got the U-Haul size that was recommended for our size of home, and we barely were able to squeeze everything in that truck. And we had already moved a lot of the boxes because we were doing an in-town move. We had moved some boxes over in our car ahead of time. And had we not done that, we would not have been able to get everything out of our house in one load. So get one size up if you are renting a truck for yourself. I have one more tip for you guys, and that is if you can, try to plan your move around a time of the year that you will have good weather in your area. Now I know we can't control Mother Nature, she has a bit of a mind of her own, but for example, if you live in the Midwest like I do, maybe don't plan to move out the first week of February. Just a thought. We ended up moving basically in the middle of a snowstorm. Thankfully, we got one day where it wasn't snowing, the roads were clear, and we just packed all of our stuff and went. But if you have the option to be a little bit picky about the time of year that you move, I highly recommend trying not to do it in the dead of winter if you live somewhere that gets very wintry, or the heat of the summer if you live somewhere that gets really hot in the summer. A lot of times if you're renting your new home, you might have the option to choose a 12, 13, 14, even 15-month lease. So think about what month that lease will be up and try to be strategic about when you want that lease to be up if you're thinking you're gonna move out after that next year. And there you have it, guys. I hope you found these tips helpful, and I hope they will help you to avoid some of the mistakes that I made in this last move. If you did enjoy this video, hit that like button down below. Make sure you are subscribed for more homemaking motivation, and I will see you guys again in the next one. Bye.